Welcome to Bar Chat. That's where it's at.
I'm Lexi.
I'm Bianca.
And I'm Becca. And we're chatting all things dance. That was very exciting because that was the first time ever we did it on the first try.
Yeah, I
think we just keep it.
Usually the reason we don't get it on the first try is because of one person.
You.
Becca.
It's always me. Yeah,
it's
that's
always
a good
Becca.
Point. And I always go,
but
sorry, we did it.
We got it. I'm very proud. Yeah.
Practiced your lines.
Yeah, so what are we chatting about today, Lexi?
Well, today we're going to be talking about how to balance school and dance, something that was pretty tricky for I think all of us.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about our experiences growing up in high school mainly, but I'll probably touch a bit on college just because I don't major in dance. So like I still had to balance that in college, but we all have our own experiences. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I feel like so many times in just our conversation this week, this topic has gotten brought up. So I feel I'm really excited to like jump into it.
Me too, yeah.
Into it.
All right, well, I guess the first question can be, do you guys feel like you did a good job balancing school and dance growing up?
My answer is no, because I ended up leaving school so I could focus on dance.
All right, that's a hard no.
So I completely failed, gave up, and just switched.
Wow.
But that also, I could talk about that because I think sometimes if it comes down to it and you're really serious about dance and this is what you want to do and it gets to a point mentally where you can't handle it, at least for me, I was ready to switch. So
Yeah.
Right.
I think for me, and I think everyone could agree on this, dance is really hard and so is school. So when you have both of them, mostly every day of the week and weekends, it's a lot. And mentally it's a lot because you go to school, you have homework, then you have to go to dance and you don't have time for everything. And I'm a very organized person, so it was hard for me to feel organized and in control when I had so much piling up all the time. I always found a way to do it, but it was definitely stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the hardest parts was that obviously I enjoyed doing one thing more than the other.
Yeah.
So I would always prioritize dance, and homework would kind of just be when I get home at 11, 12 o'clock at night after dance, and I would kind of just wing it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And I would always joke about this, but I always think of school, or I did at least, as my pre-dance activity instead of dance as my post-school activity.
Yeah,
and I know
smart.
that is so not good, but like that's what
smart.
my life was. Like I was going to dance 6-7 days a week. I was dancing there. I was teaching there. I was competing. I was doing everything. So it was a big part of my life. And when that's more fun than going to school, obviously I'm going to prioritize that a little bit, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And for me, it came down to what I see like in my future. And I don't know if your guys' schools, we could talk about like academic wise, but the academics at my school were really, really rigorous. And my sister and brother went through it, who are older than me. And when it got the time for me to like go into the higher grades of school, like junior and senior year, I was just like, what's my priority? And as you said, dance was my priority.
Yeah.
And
it's very easy senior year to make dance your priority, especially because like once you finish applying to college and you're just done with that whole process, not that grades don't, I'm not saying grades don't matter, but you already submitted them to school.
Yeah.
So like you feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. So it's so much easier to be like, okay, dance.
And you never have to go back again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Senioritis is real, especially when it comes to dance, in my opinion.
In both school and dance.
Yes.
I can think back to like my middle school years. We kind of did the same thing every day. Me and my friends from dance, we all went to the same middle school. So we would carpool to different friends' houses pretty much every day. We'd do our homework. We would have our lunch or our snack, and then we would go straight to dance. Sometimes, well, most of the time I wouldn't get all of my homework done because I was just that type of student. But that was the everyday thing. No, I overanalyzed everything and I was like, this isn't right. But yeah, we'd go to dance and then I'd have to probably come home and, you know, I'd shower and it would be 11 already. And then I'd still have a project due the next day. But that was like the normal thing for me. And high school, same thing, you know, it was, I think it was a little bit easier in high school. Just as you get older, you become better at managing those things.
Absolutely.
But still nonetheless very stressful. I also danced in middle school and high school at my school because they were performing arts schools.
Gotcha.
So the academics were quote unquote like rigorous, but they were also very understanding because it was an art school.
Because it was an art school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of a difference there. So yeah, it's just everybody's different, but I did the homework. I did this school and the dance every single day of the week and sometimes weekends as well.
I just wanted to touch on something that you said. You said how like as you got older, it was able to manage everything a little bit easier. But I have to say, I feel like dance is a big reason why I've gained so many skills. So I feel like because of dance, I was able to manage my time better and able to stay more organized, and even just like leadership skill, like so much came from dance. So it's not like we were just wasting our time for some silly little hobby. Like we got a lot out of this, and we still are. And like, I can honestly say, like, because of dance, I'm who I am today. And I feel like you guys can agree with that.
Lots of skills you learn besides dancing.
Absolutely. Dance is just one of the many, like it's
Becca, what about you? Like middle school, high school?
Well, I don't know, because I feel like you guys talk a lot about how like you worked past it, but for me, I always felt like when I was in dance class, all I could think about was all the work I had to do when I got home.
Same.
And that's all I did. And I was like, it stressed me out, and I felt like it got in the way of my training.
Yes, I was going to say,
which I really, really struggled with. A lot of the times I would have to like skip dance because I had like too much homework. Or
the famous I have dance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, the opposite.
so
I can't, I have homework.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't go to dance.
I misheard that.
It's okay.
My bad.
But yeah,
But still true.
It is still true.
It is a hard balance for sure.
Yeah.
And I can't come on here and say that I achieved it, but I can come on here and say that.
To each their own.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot that I had to give up because I was a dancer. Like, I don't know if I told you guys this. You probably knew this. I did a lot of like modeling and stuff when I was younger. And I think as I got to middle school, which is when dance really picked up, I was on the competition team, like things were happening. I couldn't do that anymore. Same thing. I told you guys this the other day. I did gymnastics for 11 years.
Yeah.
I had to quit that in like 6th or 7th grade because same reason, like dance was picking up, and you have to pick. Like you can't do everything. And I had to learn that, especially growing up. Like I had a lot of jobs. I did many jobs, but they all had to revolve around dance.
Yeah.
And if they wouldn't allow me to do that, then I couldn't work there.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, dance was and always will be my first priority.
Yeah.
So I couldn't commit to anything that didn't understand that dance was my first priority. And I had a lot of, I wouldn't say issues, but like, that was always the thing for me when I would join like the drama club musicals in high school, because I never got casted as any like named role, because I would always write, this is my dance schedule, Monday to Friday.
The availability.
My availability. Yeah. And I was like, this is the thing. If you are casting me in the show, you are respecting my dance schedule and you're not penalizing me for it. And I would get cast in the show. And
ensemble.
I got ensemble for every single show. Yeah.
Understudy.
And it sucks because it's like, I don't know my potential. I don't know what I could have gotten in that show if I didn't have dance, but we'll never know because I told them dance was my priority. So that was just something I had to like deal with, because I was never going to be a lead because I told them dance is priority.
Yeah. And that's kind of an interesting point, and it reminds me of something else, is that like I feel like a lot of my friends in middle school and high school overbooked themselves with activities. They weren't just doing dance. They were doing like soccer and other sports and other extracurricular things. Yeah. And I am glad that I didn't do that, because I chose dance. I chose that.
And you overbooked yourself with one thing.
Right. Exactly. So that's
great.
what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, especially at a young age.
You can't do anything but dance.
I think it's good to explore what you like. And, some of them preferred soccer, but once you find that thing, really focus on it and hone it in, especially if you want to be professional in that thing.
Right.
Like I had always known from a young age that I wanted to be a dancer. That's what I was going to do. Something in the arts, whatever, but dance.
Yeah. You don't want to like hop around and try different things.
And not everybody has that though. Like you started later. That wasn't something maybe that you
but everything I always did was very like focused, and I always definitely focused on one thing.
Right.
There's like a type for dancers. I feel like we all have a certain way of thinking where like we're very driven and we know what we want, and then you have to really just go for it.
Something that Lexi brought up with like her school play or any musicals and stuff she's done. It reminded me that the school plays.
I did the plays too, but I like the musicals better because there's dancing in it.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like the musicals?
Exactly.
They're more fun.
Well, there was like, it wasn't like a rule, but it basically was like an unspoken rule that you couldn't really participate in anything besides being on like my performance company at my studio. So that was always really, really like frustrating for me because rehearsals were on the weekends and they were mandatory. And I've told you about it before, but if you didn't go to rehearsals, if you didn't go to that rehearsal, then you were taking out the dance that you were.
That is the worst thing. Like seriously, getting taken out of a section of the dance or the dance
or no,
as a
the
whole,
entire dance.
like that is one of the worst things. And the anxiety that you get from missing dance class, like it's just not even worth it. Like for me at least, and I feel like you guys can agree, I would rather miss anything else.
No,
than not miss dance
it was
class.
just
like
not
I would
allowed.
miss whatever for school.
I'm pretty sure at a point they would like charge you if you missed classes. Like it was just
crazy.
It was mandatory.
Yeah. The musicals had strict guidelines. The plays did. The dance performances did.
Yeah, I could never do any of it.
It's like all or nothing. We want
Right.
all of you all the time, weekends, whatever, through the night.
but it's also
nothing
like
else.
we're just kids, and
I
it's
know.
like
We don't even see our families hardly.
and even like when
oh my gosh, we never had family dinners growing up, and it was my fault because I
Yeah,
was never
same.
home.
But it wasn't your fault. It was just the way things were. Yeah.
But it was my fault.
Yeah.
Like it was my fault. Like there was no family dinner dynamic because I wasn't home. So they were like, whatever. Like we just didn't do that.
her.
sometimes my family would wait up for me, like if I got home and ate, if I got out on like an earlier day and stuff. But no, because my family is that family
But
where
no.
they make a priority to have like family dinners. But yeah, I always got like left out of everything. My family still talks about like, oh, remember when we went out and did this? And I'd be like, oh, I don't remember that. They were like, oh no, you were at dance. I feel like I'm left out of all of the family memories because I was always at
agree.
dance.
Anytime there's a family photograph that I'm not in, I'm like, oh, where was I? And they're like, dance. Like you know where you were. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
I actually kind of don't have that experience. Like somehow.
Oh, okay.
Somehow, like my dad always tried to make time for dinner or something throughout the day where me and my brother and my dad could be together. You know, and like when I was younger, my mom too, but there was always some sort of moment in the day for family time, whether it was one day off a week where I didn't have dance at night or, you know, a random time in the weekend. So I'm grateful for that. But a lot of the time, yes, I was at dance till 9. We get in and out on the way back from dance in the car and we all just go to bed straight as we get home. You know?
Did your brother do an extracurricular? Like,
he actually kind of was into break dancing for a while when he was like in 6th and 7th grade.
okay, word.
That is so cool.
He used to take class at Millennium. He was like,
No.
yeah, and he was kind of good, but now he's a guitar player. He's a musician, and that's
Do you
long
think
gone.
he can still do it?
If I say go do a plie, he's like, yeah. I'm like,
say less. I
yeah,
got it.
yeah, and I
Really?
I quiz him
That's so
sometimes
funny.
for fun. I'm like, Ton, do? He's like, yep.
It's like, Ton, what? Here you go.
He'll mess up on a jeté or something, but like other than that, yeah, he's
now
got
and
it.
then.
He's got it in the bag.
Slay. What about you? Did any of your siblings dance or?
Okay, so I have a 14-year-old brother and a 16-year-old brother. 16-year-old brother, he does like theater and stuff. He doesn't dance, but he'll like dance in the shows and stuff, and like he can keep up. And then the 14-year-old brother, so when I was a senior in high school, so he must have been like 10 or 11 at the time, I forced him to take hip hop at my dance studio. So our deal was, if you take hip hop, I will download Roblox.
That's
so
so
for
funny.
the entire year, I had to play Roblox, and then he took hip hop class because I was like, "You're gonna be in my dance recital. It's my final one." And we had these these like daddy daughter.
What a trooper!
I know. We had these daddy daughter dances that would be in the recital every year. So I was like, my dad, me, and Chase would all be in the recital. I was like, 3 out of 5 of us. Like, that's so cool.
That is
like
cool.
there would never be any more trade jacks in the recital.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need as many as possible. And
have
it was
to
just
ask
funny,
you,
but I
though.
forced him to.
Was Roblox fun?
I honestly only played it like twice. He was very mad at me.
You What even lied. is
I know. I didn't hold up my end of the bargain.
What even is Roblox?
I don't know. It's like the Minecraft thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Chase was very good at like making the world, and then he has like a really great imagination. So he would make all these like intricate games.
Is he
and
the
then,
one that made the roller coaster?
No, that one's Sammy.
Oh, so
I
your whole
have
family
two
is
very
just
creative brothers. Yeah.
And you too, Lexi. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a little creative
Yeah,
myself. I like
sometimes.
dabble in like creative.
Like,
you know.
15% of the time.
Yeah, just like a
I'm
small,
just kidding.
just like very minute, you know. But yeah, that's what Roblox is.
So what else about school?
Well, I was my sister also danced with me because we were talking about siblings.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right,
I guess
right,
you
right.
could. I guess you could talk about
I
yours
guess I
too.
can talk about my sister again.
I forgot about
She'll
that.
get mad at me if I don't mention her. She'll get mad at me. But yeah, we danced together, which made it really easy because my brother was a fencer.
You're 2 years apart.
2 years apart.
She's
yeah.
older.
2 years older. My brother was a fencer, so my dad would drive my brother around, and then
That's so cool.
yeah,
I didn't know
he was on the Canadian national team,
Wow.
junior national team. He was really good. But anyways, it's not
You
about
say
him.
that
It's
to
about
me
me.
every other week.
Really?
That's the third time I've heard it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So cool.
I'm also a Canadian citizen because of it.
Lucky you.
Wait, really?
She has a dual citizenship.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because my dad's
Okay, I was gonna say that.
Because my dad's Canadian. Sorry, I keep hitting my mouth on the microphone.
Like eating it.
Because my dad's Canadian, so his kids can get citizenship, and my brother wanted to fence, and it was easier to fence for Canada instead of America. But that's besides the point.
Totally get that.
My sister and I did the same studio. What did you say? I
Nothing.
always
You
miss
always
it.
miss
What did I
all of our
miss?
jokes. It really wasn't that funny. It was just Bianca. Keep going.
Haha. That was funny.
your sister?
Yeah, so we went to the same studio and we were on the performance company together. So it made it really easy, especially when she got her license. We would just like go together and
Aw,
stuff.
Yeah. So I guess we can all agree that the I have dance statement is very common.
Absolutely. It's
like
true.
you have
It's
to
not
use it all the
cliche.
time. And I know that like friends and family get frustrated sometimes because they're like, oh, you're always at dance.
Especially
like,
friends.
You can't come.
Especially
yeah.
friends.
But it's also like they don't understand. I guess like the level of like commitment and passion that we have to this sport and how important it is to us and how important it is to not miss, that it's something that I guess they'll just never be able to understand because
They're
it's
not
like
on our level.
Can I just say that we are like so lucky to know what we wanted to do at like such a young age. And I
Yeah.
think that's why it was so frustrating for us when we'd have like troubles with friends or family not really understanding, because maybe when they were that age, or they are that age at the time, they were so not like that.
Mhm.
Right. No, I felt like it was something that I knew very young that I was passionate about it.
Yeah.
And even though like the insane passion, I guess, kicked in like in high school when I really was like, this is it.
Mhm.
But like I always knew that it was
Yeah.
dance.
I also think
for a
that
while.
dance doesn't give you a lot of time to decide. You have to know at a young age because you
Yeah.
have to get that training in when
Right.
you're moldable.
Yeah, and by the time you're like even trying to make or have to make an active decision, it's like, well, I'm in too deep. So like, I
Yeah.
guess this is where I am. Like, I don't think
Right.
there was ever a moment where I was like, is this what I want to do? Yes, this is a decision I'm making. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm here now.
I'm already doing it for 10
Right.
years at this point. So
Yeah,
I gotta
I
keep
spent so
going.
much money and put all my time and energy.
Right.
Even though
Missed
we
every
had-
single social event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though we had that episode where we talked about like some toxic dance teachers, there was never a moment that I was like, this isn't what I want to be doing. It was more, this isn't what I want to do here. But I
Yes.
never saw myself not dancing. And like, maybe this can segue the conversation a little bit, but when we were in quarantine and we were pretty much virtual for a year and a half, I felt like I lost like my passion for dance. Even though I didn't, I felt like I was missing something
That's
because
a
I
really
wasn't
good
dancing.
topic.
Yeah. And I don't know how much that connects with like balancing school.
Because once,
Can we talk
You-
about that for a second?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
because once we lost dance, we got to focus on school. And
Which was worse because it was
Becca,
just school.
When quarantine happened, how did that affect you with dancing and everything?
well, I was in college. I was finishing up my second semester freshman year.
Yeah.
And I had classes, and I go to school on the East Coast, but I live on the West Coast. So I flew home, and they still had classes over Zoom, and I would have to do.
Oh, the time difference.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about
So
that.
I would have classes at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my
During
God.
quarantine, I would wake up and
I
do
didn't even
ballet
go to
in my
bed till
bedroom.
6.
And
No,
that's
me
the
too.
thing.
Me too.
When lockdown first happened, everyone's sleeping schedules were so off because we didn't leave our houses.
I was going to bed at 5 a.m.
Same.
and waking up at like 4 in the
I
afternoon.
was going to bed at 5 a.m. and waking up at 6 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then I would take
Wow.
naps throughout the day. It was so draining. So once that was 6 weeks, I remember Zoom University 6 weeks. And after that, I was like, I hate dance. I cannot do this right now. I didn't actually hate it, but I was like, I'm so drained. I didn't dance for, I think, a month. And that was the longest I've ever gone without dancing. Like once I started dancing, I didn't even go on vacation. Like I didn't have time to go on vacation. I would go on trips and stuff, but it would be like for summer intensives and stuff. So that was the first time since I started dancing that I took that long of a break.
Yeah.
And it's awful. Because
It was awful. And by the end of it,
prepared for that.
by the end of it, I was like, I need to dance again.
Yes.
I once again have a very different perspective with this because I had just graduated college,
Yes.
Right.
which to be honest, I am so grateful for because I just got by with the whole school pandemic thing.
Made it in less than a year. Yeah.
Like months.
And it's not
Wow.
fun. It's not fun. Let me
I
tell
know.
you.
But I think about it in your shoes and I'm like, I would have dropped out. I couldn't do it because I'm spending so much money to just be on my laptop and just do what I want.
It was such a waste of money, let me
And
tell you.
I know, and you're never going to get it back. And that's what's awful about it. And I feel so bad
It
for
was just
everybody.
survival mode.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was. And yeah, that's
Guys,
how
I
you
took a
cope.
class for my dance minor, yoga asynchronously.
Mm,
That is such a wasted credit for
Yeah.
my dance minor.
yeah.
I was so mad about that because how am I supposed to take that seriously when she's just uploading videos and then you have to do it or not?
Yeah.
Like we were required.
I was a little confused about asynchronous. So thank you for making that clear.
Asynchronous means that you were not meeting on Zoom.
Just videos and you have
Yeah,
to do the
she
videos.
was just posting, like she recorded herself on Zoom and then posted it onto Canvas.
Okay.
But asynchronous means that you're not meeting in person and you're not meeting online. You're
That is a
literally
waste of
just
time.
doing everything on your own
Go
time.
on YouTube.
So
Same thing.
what I would do, because we had to submit pictures of
Mm-hmm.
us in these yoga positions. It's so funny because you can see my roommates in the background. You can see that like there's food out and like I'm clearly hanging out with people. Like I'm
Yeah.
not doing yoga. And then I had to write like a little comment and I was like, I woke up at 6 a.m. for this one and I felt really just like in touch with my mental health. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it was really great.
That is Zoom
Meanwhile,
University
I'm
to a
like
T.
literally watching The Bachelor or something and I like roll out my yoga mat. Like it was just like I was so mad because I wasted a credit on something that I could have used and taken an awesome dance class for in person and didn't
It's
get to do that.
really bad as a dance major to not be able to dance in a studio during a quarantine or a pandemic because nobody had done it before.
Right.
But also going back to like what you guys said about having a struggle like mentally with not being able to dance through that time, I almost enjoyed it because I had just finished 4 years of rigorous training at a school that a lot happened.
burnt you out maybe a little
It
bit.
burnt me out a little bit. And so to be kind of forced to not be in a studio and just kind of find a new creative outlet like TikTok, that was my like solace at that time. That was where I was like my most creative and happy. Like if
That's
I,
awesome.
because I tried one dance class in my room and I was like, this is awful and I don't even
It was
like
terrible.
it. I don't even like
it's-
it.
I would never do that again.
So I'm so grateful for TikTok in that time because if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would have done.
See, that's awesome. And I wish that I had that because for us, like we had just graduated high school. We're finally like,
College.
we're getting into college. There's so many new dance opportunities
I was
that are
the
presenting themselves.
happiest of,
Things were going so great. Like dance, like there's so many opportunities. You're a
Yeah.
freshman in college and then it just gets shut down.
Awful.
And then you come back and you're a junior and you're like, wait, I missed out
I know.
on so much.
I know.
We have never had a full, me and Lexi, because we're in the same grade if you didn't know, we've never had a full year of college.
Until this year.
No, a full year of college without a
Without
pandemic.
Yes.
like
And we're
half
going to
online
graduate next year.
classes
Yep.
and- Yeah.
Yep. We're going to graduate next year with most likely a pandemic.
My college classes, first semester, 2020. Wait, yeah. Fall
Spring
semester, fall semester 2020.
2019. Oh, sorry. With the pandemic?
Yeah, after
Okay,
the
yeah,
summer of
That's
fall
spring
of
2020.
2020.
Spring 2020, fall 2020. Is that what you're talking about? Like freshman and sophomore year?
Yeah. So the
Okay.
beginning of sophomore year
Gotcha. Okay.
was all online. So I did it in my living room. Waste of time.
My full year was online.
You're just
sophomore
not getting
year.
the full experience.
Not
Yeah.
at all. You're not learning anything.
Yeah. And then my spring of sophomore year was hybrid, and that was also miserable. Honestly, So I think all of it was miserable.
It was just crazy because so much happened, like especially this spring, where me and the sophomores and the freshmen were all like, this is our first spring. 3 years of classes.
I had first like there's certain things that happen or like shows that happen towards like the end of the spring semester.
Spring show. Yep.
Yeah. Like
Me
the
too.
freshmen would come to me and ask me like, oh, what is this like? And I'd be like, we didn't have it.
Yeah. No idea.
We're juniors and we've never experienced it.
Yeah. That's what was crazy for me. Like for my dance company, we had one show. It was our winter showcase, fall 2019. Then we didn't have one until this year. So then we had one in the fall, and then we had one like 2 months ago in spring. And it was my first spring showcase with my dance company, which I'm president of.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do because I've never had a spring
and you're
showcase.
President.
And I'm president.
Because
so I'm
you're
like,
a junior.
I have to run this thing that I've never done.
Yes.
And like, since I was a junior, I was responsible for, I don't know, like getting all the seniors, like their graduation presents and handling all that stuff. I never saw any sort of like graduation send off because I didn't have any of those because of the pandemic. Like,
and
I missed out.
After all the online stuff, then it was dancing in masks all the time.
Right.
And that's a whole different conversation, but it's just been a
Yeah.
struggle. But I guess like the light in the situation is like you have to find different creative outlets that you love, and you get to explore different parts of your creativity and like make the most of the situation, even in a pandemic,
Right.
which nobody ever saw coming. But in general, school and dance, it teaches you a lot. It teaches you patience. It teaches you hard work and perseverance.
Absolutely.
And also like what you really care about.
Yes, I completely agree
Yeah.
because for a long time, like I never had a break from dance. And I was always worried that like, because I was so stressed about how I looked dancing and how I felt, like there was just so many things to stress about as a dancer, which is a whole nother conversation. But I was always worried that I was like, am I burnt out? Am I losing my passion? And having dance stripped away from me for a year and a half, it reminded me that I will never lose my passion for dance. And that is so a part of me. And getting it back this year, I feel like I just had like a whole new wave of passion for dance. And I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. No matter how I do it, I want to do this.
And dance will always be here.
Yes,
Dance
it'll
will
always be here.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're definitely talking about it in another episode, just talking about like being okay with taking breaks and stuff and all of that. But I think the pandemic 100% taught me that because I was never like that until the pandemic. And
it taught you to be comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that.
it really,
thank you so much. So I think that was a lot to cover, but I think we did a good job of like learning about each other's experiences and kind of connecting common ground through that, you know, like we all had a very different story, but somehow they're all kind of the same,
right?
In the way where, you lose out on experiences because you have dance,
right?
You have to sacrifice things, but if
you learn so much more along the way.
Yes. And if it's for what you love, then it's worth it.
It's absolutely worth it.
All while keeping your mental health in check, though. That's important too.
Mental health. Yes.
Another episode.
Yes, that is another episode.
That's like a 2-parter.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for listening in and watching. If you're seeing this on TikTok or YouTube, stay tuned for the next episode in 2 weeks, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye.